where you been and where you going. This is Ari's travel show, yeah. We're gonna talk about travel today. It's You Be Trippin, yeah.
Welcome to You Be Trippin, everybody. Welcome to You Be Trippin, everybody. It's the only travel podcast that did not abandon Bud Light for Miller Lite. My guest today is I try to keep them different. My guest today is Sean Patton, one of my best friends for like a long fucking time. How long have I known you?
You and I?
Yeah.
I'm in 12 years.
It's got to be at least
12.
More. I moved to New York 12 years ago.
I feel like we really started being buddies when you moved here.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I knew you in LA, but it was like passing.
Yeah, and I was a store guy and you were not. And then it was like, if you were a store guy, you just stayed at the store drinking there.
Oh, yeah. I like to say during those years, I was a meltdown guy. Because that was when the meltdown was still happening.
Meltdown fucking ruled for a while.
Which, by the way, the other night, like 2 nights ago, I'm sitting at the cellar eating fucking borscht. Second best borscht in the city. I'm saying it. Veselka.
Oh, nice.
Veselka's a better borscht. I'm sorry.
It's honorable. If you're behind Veselka, you're okay.
But still, amazing borscht at the cellar.
Yeah.
And I'm having borscht, and I look over and fucking Kumail.
Oh, wow.
Kumail Nanjiani comes walking in, and I'm like, oh, shit, man. I stand up, hug him. I'm like, what are you doing here? And he goes, I'm a comedian, dickhead.
I didn't forget.
I'm like, okay.
Well, you're a Marvel star.
But he's like, oh, yeah. And he fucking goes on. And
Was he Jack still?
Yeah.
God damn.
He's like.
I love that he hasn't given it up. He's like, no, I like this body.
He's so jacked now, his face is jacked.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Where like you look at his face and you're like, dude, your jaws have biceps.
I was in Colombia when his when that picture came out. It was like, God damn.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, an honorable thirst trap picture that really just made the rounds.
If you look at it again, what's spectacular about it is the
put that up.
The flawed six-pack.
Flawed six-pack.
Where it's like, where it just looks like, because it's not just like 6 equal size muscles. It's all like, there's like mistakes. Like it reminds you that like, you know what I'm saying? Like, look at it. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's just like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
right.
it looks so like real.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't look like a fake,
right.
like airbrush six-pack. It's like, look at that shit, dude.
Look at that.
Like one of them's bigger than the other. You know, it reminds you, like, hey, man.
Wow. Yeah, it's like
imperfection is perfection.
God damn it! Look at those fucking veins coming out. He's a nerd.
I know, dude.
He's supposed to be a fucking nerd.
The nerds got buff, and the right was like, no more of this.
Dude, we did this not happening at the Improv, and he was on, and Bert was on, and I think Bert was like, I don't know if they had beef or something or not, but anyway, Bert was on, and after Kumail.
Yeah.
And it was a long time ago. None of them were big. And he goes, oh, that guy was so funny it's Indian comic. It's like, I love that. And Kumail's just next to me at the Improv. He goes, I'm from Pakistan.
Yeah. I mean, look at that right arm. You're like, man, if only you wanted to do heroin once.
You'd have no problem finding a vein.
Just quick and easy. You know? But yeah, like when you moved here, we started kicking it.
It's late night drinking too. It's patties, especially patties, where you're like, oh, this is just, it's chill. You can just drink.
The old stand.
No one drank. No one drove home.
No one drives. No, I wish there was more hang. The hang in comedy has become an issue.
Everyone's working.
Everyone's just bouncing around.
Everyone's got to do this shit during the day.
Doing this during the day.
You still hold it down.
Or bouncing around doing fucking 6 spots.
That's right. Well, yeah, sure. Yeah, it's almost like you can only hang for the last one.
Yeah, and then the last one sometimes.
I gotta go home.
Like,
and half the people have kids now. It's like I gotta go home. My kid and wife. It's like,
well, when I tell people sometimes like my last set on a Friday night, if I'm in town, there's a high possibility I'm not going on stage till 2:40 a.m.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
You can also hold your booze too.
I can drink fast.
So then it's like you don't have to worry about messing up your set. You're just looser.
No, I'm just looser and
I'll just
care less.
Oh
yeah, I don't.
Yeah, you don't slur.
I would love to actually, like I went on when I was living in Atlanta filming for this FX show. There was one night where I went on stage and I was like, I can remember before I went on being like, I am blackout shit. I am too fucked up. That was because my buddy had come into town and we were day drinking all day, walking around Atlanta in the spring. It was fucking amazing. And then we got to the Laughing Skull, which is a fun club, which is like their cellar.
Yeah.
Or they're like, it's a showcase club. And we just went to hang out, and the guy running it, and I was like, go on, come on, just fucking go up. And I was like, fuck it. And I remember standing side stage and being like, I am fucked up, dude. And I went on, and I had a really fucking fun set, but didn't do much material. And then he sent me the set like 2 days later.
Yeah.
And I watched it, and I was like, you can't tell at all.
Wow. What a superpower.
Like, I was shocked at how little I could. Like, there was one moment where I fucked up a word, but I was like, but you could argue that I did that on purpose.
Right. You could be the dumb comic on purpose.
Yeah.
That's why I said Cross was in here this week.
That motherfucker can drink.
And we brought you up, and I was like, he was like, he's so funny. I'm like, oh, but also, sure. Yeah, obviously. But also, what on the Mount Rushmore of drinking comics. Not in terms of how much, but just like you're a fun drunk.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
You keep it going. You're not like shots.
No,
You're just like, let's just have a great time. You just keep it going.
I think there was a younger version of me, of course, that was like, put everything. Come on, Jaeger bombs, yes. Flaming car bomb, yeah. Flaming Zambuca, that was my big thing.
What?
Flaming Zambuca, Phil. If someone had Zambuca and they were willing to light it on fire, what you need 151 to do? What?
Liberty Bell shot?
I've never done that. What's that?
I think it's Goldschlager.
Okay.
It is dip your finger in Goldschlager.
Okay.
Somebody lights it on fire.
Okay.
You do the shot and blow it out.
Oh, and blow it out.
Yeah, not Liberty Bell, Statue of Liberty shot.
Not blow fire.
That has happened so many times that it needs to be warned, actually.
I can blow fire.
Yeah. Really?
It's very easy. It's very easy. But you need 151. You need 151. You spit like you're blowing into a trombone. Like
Shaffir.
Like that. And you just pull the flame away from you as you do it.
Okay.
It's that easy. Just like
I gotta see you do it. We'll do it outside.
I can do it. If you have 151, I can do it.
I don't.
One day.
But okay,
we'll get
one
footage
day.
of it. Yeah.
All right, boy, Sean, let's get traveling today.
Travel, yeah.
Where are we going?
How about Havana, Cuba?
I love it. Nobody's talked about Cuba before.
Really?
I'm thinking of going there.
It was awesome.
Soon with Bobby.
Okay.
And so I want to know all about it.
I highly recommend. Now, this was in 2015.
Okay.
So it was a while ago. But we went. It was
before Castro was assassinated.
Yeah. before, when he still was rumored to be alive. Yeah. But we went because two reasons. One, it was my boy's bachelor party.
Okay.
And he's fluent.
Who, Jeffrey Epstein?
No.
Different guy.
Different guy. Right. A civilian, though.
Okay.
And but he speaks fluent Spanish. He loves the Caribbean. Never been to Cuba. And we were all in our 30s at this point, so we're not just a bunch of fucking idiots. But there was 10 of us. But we did this shit where we created a fake email chain and then accidentally looped him in to this fake email chain where we were talking about his bachelor party that was going to be in Toronto, right?
Oh, nice. You ruined the bachelor party. You ruined the surprise on purpose as a decoy.
As like a, yes.
Who were those guys from X-Files who would like...
Yeah,
the government would feed them stories because they were like, you're nutcases.
Oh, the two journalists
with the long hair.
Yeah.
You're nutcases, so we want some real stuff to come out along with.
But no one will believe it anyway. Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And so he like chimed in and was like, "Cool, I guess I'll pack." But it was during the summer. But he's like, "I guess I'll pack for Canadian summer or whatever." And we're like, "Ha ha ha!"
Nice,
and then we all met. Like I was in LA at the time, and like 10 of us, we all met in 9 of us met in Toronto.
Yeah.
And we're like, fuck you, buddy. We're getting on another flight.
Wow.
And we were going to Cuba. Yeah. Yeah. So it was.
You didn't go the Miami route. You went up there.
Well, so back then, even though Raul and Obama, because that was the other thing, they had just like dapped. And we were like, let's get down there before they start opening McDonald's and shit. Because at the time, you thought Cuba was going to be the 51st state, maybe.
Wow.
So it was like, let's just get down there. And it was at the time, way cheaper and more options to just go through Canada. Right? Because that's the thing.
Because Canadians always never
stopped.
I remember when they said they're going to open up, and I had that same thought of like, it's going to be ruined soon. And then Mike, what's his name? Brunson's son had gone there for vacation. Rick Brunson.
Oh, okay.
And it was like, oh, you went to Cuba? Like, yeah, we all go to Cuba. I'm like, oh, right. It's not. Yeah, it's just Americans haven't gone there. Brits have gone there.
Europeans
from Canada have gone there.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not. It wasn't a Eastern Bloc.
No. It was fucking. We learned, but that was the thing. We flew. This was the crazy thing. So we flew into Varadaro first, which is I highly recommend checking this shit out.
Okay.
It's 2 hours east
of Havana.
And it was like
Varadaro. There it is.
Yeah. And it had like It had like an all expenses paid resort type shit.
Look at these white sand.
Oh, dude.
That's real?
It's real. And
Is this bitch there?
It's real and it's topless.
She's not wearing a top.
Or nude, I guess you call it. Yeah,
I don't think she's wearing a top. It's hard to see.
I mean, dude, I tell you what, on that beach,
Yeah.
they like the best pina colada I've ever had because you walk up and it's just a dude in a little hut and there's only one thing. There's only one thing to order. So you just go 1, 2, dos, tres, whatever. He grabs a fucking coconut out of a little bushel. He chops it in half, scoops one out into a blender with ice, mixes it with rum, and then puts it back in the fucking coconut half and straw. That shit was incredible.
Wow.
And we had to use, now at the time, this was 2015. I've heard people say you can use American debit cards and American credit cards now. You definitely could not then, and they wouldn't even take U.S. currency. So we were told by we went through our travel agent, we were told they were like, bring euro or Canadian dollars.
Okay.
So there was 10 of us. We had one dude, we called it the slush fund, who just at any given moment would have about 10,000 euro on it. Because there was 10 of us just out, and whenever we needed money.
That does not seem smart.
We went down there we had, I think, just under, we had 28,500 euro total between 10 of us. We blew it all.
How long were you there?
5 days.
You went through $30,000?
Yeah. 10 of us. We went, bro.
Okay.
We
Still,
went-
though, $3,000 each in, I mean.
We went fucking buck wild.
It's a bachelor's party.
We went fucking wild.
Oh,
Well, okay, so first of all,
guys, I got to break in real quick. I got to break into the episode. It's a great one. One of the best ones we've ever had. I'm not going to lie to you about that. Sean Patton told it all, got excited, really let me know about what Cuba was like and what a fun trip that was. That was a fun trip. But I'm here to let you know about Sean. He's one of the most underrated comics in the country. I'm not joking. I went on Joe Rogan's podcast right when I got back from Ecuador, and he's like, what do you have to promote? And I said, I got to promote Sean Patton because he's that talented. Sean, Adrian, Mike Vecchione. That's all I said. I want you guys to see them. He's that fucking talented. On my show, this is not happening. He was easily on the Mount Rushmore of storytellers in that show. And he's got a new show on FX, and it's about time he gets his due. English Teacher on FX premieres tonight, September 2nd, 10 p.m., a 2-episode premiere. It's also going to be streaming on Hulu. If you have that. If you don't have that, you just got to have everything, right? Sean's great, dude. You can look him up online at Mr. Sean Patton on Instagram. That's a nice thing. Mr. Sean Patton. Follow him on Instagram. Let him know you really liked him. And then he's got some tour dates coming up. Let's see. These are opening he's open for David Cross a lot. Well, this weekend, Charleston, South Carolina at the Wits End. Then September 11th in Seattle at the Showbox, open for David Cross. Oh, these open for David Cross in Olympia, Portland, Oregon, Eugene, Oregon, Arcata. Wow, these are all. Oh, his own show at the San Francisco Punchline, September 18th through the 21st. One of the best clubs in the country. Let's skip the David Cross ones because there's too many. God, there's a lot. Opening for David Cross. Salt Lake City. Okay, here we go. Bentonville, Arkansas for the Big Diamond Comedy Fest in October. Well, that's all the way in October. Anyway, check him out. MeSeanPatton.com online and Mr. Sean Patton on Instagram. And I got nothing to promote. So I just want to say, could you guys please subscribe to this podcast? Go ahead and hit subscribe wherever you're watching or listening right now. Do me a favor. Get my numbers up. We've got an exciting September. After this, it'll be Shane Gillis and then Joey Diaz. And I want to get those numbers up to 100,000 on YouTube really quickly. So do me a favor and subscribe. What the fuck? And do yourself a favor so you get notified of these new episodes. They're getting better and better. Let's not lie about it. Leave in the comments of the YouTube what you liked about this episode, your own memories of Cuba or places you want to go. And just like, I don't know, favorite Sean Patton stories. And check out his show, English Teacher on FX. He's pretty racist in the episode. That's not a joke. All right, guys. I think that's it. Let's get back to the episode.
This resort.
Yeah.
We get there the first night, and we were only going to spend one night and like
At the resort?
Yeah, like the afternoon. We got there in the afternoon. The other thing, when you land. Oh, so let me get to this first.
Okay.
We're flying into Cuba. We're flying into
love
Cuba,
this episode,
and
yeah.
then the fucking Canadian. It's a Canadian airline, and the pilot gets on. He's like, "Well, folks, the Canadian government. I'm sorry, the Cuban government is requesting we land." And he said the name of the place. I can't fucking remember now, but he's like, we're landing. It's about a 40-minute quick flight east of Varadaro, but we're being requested to land now. So flight attendants prepare cabin for landing, etc. So we land, and we're in this just small podunk. You're looking out the window. It's like a one runway airport with just like a little, looks like a government building. It's not, doesn't look like a real airport. And we are at that moment the only plane you can see, and it's like, oof.
What?
And we're just sitting there for a while, and then the pilot gets on. He's like, well, folks, go ahead, grab your luggage and deplane. And he says it very curt like that, which was the freakiest part. We were like, what the fuck? And I remember we're getting off, and we're like, bro, like, there's 10 of us. You know what I mean? So, like, knuckle up if we got it. I don't know what the fuck's going on. And there's this Cuban official with a megaphone. They're like, everyone, please enter the building. It's all very simple instructions. Like, right here. And we form a single file line. We walk into this building. It's just a hallway. And it's just, there's a couple, Cuban people just waving you through. And you go into the hallway. And then you take a right. There's just more hallway. And then another right. And more hallway. And then you're right back out into the parking lot. And we're like, what in the fuck? And then we're all just standing there. And we're trying to ask, like, because by now, there's, like, people being like, what's going on? And the Cuban, like, the officials are just
That's when you need a white lady.
Well.
That's when you need someone to actually ask.
Bro, there were white ladies on that flight. Even they were like, because it was just like, what the fuck's happening? And then an official comes out with the megaphone, same person. He's like, all right, everyone, back on the plane. And now the flight attendants are there, just like, all right, come back on. And you get back on, you sit in your original seat. And the pilot gets on. He's like, all right, folks, we're first for takeoff, whatever. And we take off. And it's not till in the air that the pilot gets on. He's like, well, folks, that was, you basically all just walked past a heat sensor to see if any of you had headaches or if your temperature. I mean, he was saying this all way more eloquently.
When was this?
2015. So it was basically like, well, because here's the thing. Cuba has an amazing healthcare system. So they just wanted to make sure no one on that flight was sick or had a temperature above 98.6 or whatever.
Wow.
But I guess they don't want you to know that. And I guess, I'm guessing if someone was actually sick, they would have just been detained and sent back on a flight from where, I don't know. But we all just walked past the fucking headache sensor, or not, temperature sensor to see
What?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
And then we land in Varadaro, and it's like, all right. And then as soon as we get off, we go through customs, and they pull us all aside, and they're like, what are you doing here? And it was fucking hilarious because the guy who arranged it all, our buddy, was like, hey, man, we got to lie, right? We can't tell him we're going down there for a bachelor party. I'm saying, let's tell him we're down there filming a documentary, right? And we're like, dude.
That's not a good idea.
That's stupid.
Why would you beat journalists?
Exactly.
That's the last thing they want there.
So it was hilarious because he goes, what are you doing here? And he goes, we're filming a doc, and my buddy cuts him off. He goes, we're on a bachelor party. He's like, don't fucking listen to him. It's a bachelor party.
Right away.
And the guy laughs, and he's like, okay, you all need to buy health insurance, though. And it costs €6 a person. So we all
nice shakedown.
Bought some fucking, yeah, exactly. And then
it's accessible. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, you shook me down for $6. Well, whatever. I'm not going to argue this.
Fuck it. Who cares? Yeah. And then we got in.
You're like, we got stacks.
Dude.
But we got 6 affects us.
Oh, my God. And then
just throw a fucking wad at him. Just keep the change, bitch.
Just the shortest thunderstorm ever. I'm going to make it rain. Oh.
Actually, I do need this.
It's a shower. I'm going to make it shower. But basically, then we get to this resort, and it's an all-expense-paid resort, but it's real. It was the first moment where you were like, oh, I kind of get what communism is. Because to everyone there, you're like, this is a nice all-expense-paid resort. But to you, you're like, I have not really ever been to one of these 5-star joints, but this is a really nice Motel 6 at best.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
really?
Yeah. And there was a bunch of people there. There was a bunch of partying. There's a big-ass pool.
But not luxury.
Not luxury at all. There was beer was free, booze was free, but it was like, yeah. But it wasn't, it was definitely more, it was more on the rough around the edges side than it was on the, it was more the rags than the riches side. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was a nice rag, a really nice rag. But but that was the thing. There we met a bunch of Americans who were like, do y'all want to meet up tomorrow? They were talking about all these events, and we're like, well, actually, we're going to go to the beach tomorrow, and then we're going to Havana. And they were like, why? This is awesome. And we're like, wait, did you guys just come to Cuba?
To Verdugo?
To Varadaro.
Varadaro.
To just hang out at this resort. And they're like, yeah, it's amazing. The beaches are amazing. And you'll see. And this is just fun. I'm like, it's Havana.
Yeah.
It's a fucking world. Hemingway fucking lived there. Like, you don't want to go. What? You don't want to go to Havana? And they're like, no, it's crime and all the trash. You're like, it's a city.
Yeah, there's crime everywhere.
It's everywhere. But we would learn later, not in Cuba. Not in Cuba.
What do you mean?
The crime rate is insanely low down there, because if you're a criminal, they can cut your fucking hands off. It's that's the thing. Whenever you meet a 23-year-old who's like, I'm a communist, I'm like, go to Cuba, and then let's talk about communism. When you see it in action, you're like, no.
Too restrictive.
It's just they don't have. I mean, this was in 2015. I've heard it change. Nowhere had internet. Hotels had internet, but it was modem only, slow as fuck. Libraries,
I love that.
Libraries were basically very tiny, and all of the books were curated. There was no advertisements for anything anywhere, which at first you're like, refreshing. But then you're like, oh, yeah, because there's no businesses. Everything's government owned. Everything's government owned and operated except the hotels, and even those are probably government owned and operated. And bars you went to, there were bars and shit, but they were very basic. Sold booze.
What was the look of the
dude?
What was the look of the bars?
I mean,
was it like concrete or was it like
nice? Some like there were a couple of outdoor spots like on the wall. First of all, let's so we party at the resort. It's a fucking awesome time. The next day we go to the beach. I talked about the pina coladas, topless women everywhere, and it looks exactly like this. It's fucking beautiful. And then we have to get on a 2-hour bus ride to Havana. And look, we're all half cocked. We've bought a shitload of cohibas at this point.
Can you get them regular? Are
they
fake there? Or are they just like
they were just fucking everywhere, right? So we're just buying them. You could buy bottles. We had 8 bottles of rum.
Yeah,
and we had chartered a bus, right, for 10 of us. But then there was also other people on the bus. But like, because it was the kind of thing where it's like, hey, you can have the bus, but also can we put more people on it as well? And we'll give you guys space. So we had like the back half of the bus, and then there was like a couple people up front, also tourists. But we're just like drinking rum, smoking fucking cigars, and it's this amazing, insanely scenic drive, right? It's beautiful, like jungles and shit.
From Havana? Oh, really?
From Varadaro to Havana was fucking amazing. And it's as we're pulling into the hotel, my buddy Darius, the bachelor, he just goes, "Oh,
what
I left my passport in Varadaro." And we were like, "What do you mean you left your passport in Varadaro?" He's like, "Yeah, I put it in the safe in the hotel. I didn't get it today." And we were like, "Well, I guess you're living in Cuba." Because what the fuck are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
He's fluent in Spanish, which is like the one thing I was like, you do speak the tongue, so, but you're fucking staying. What are we? What?
I mean, what, you were gonna 4 more hours?
Well, dude, here's what we do: we get to our hotel, we check in, we tell and it's like everybody speaks pretty good English.
Okay.
In Cuba, they're all because their education is really good. Okay. Their medical, their healthcare is amazing.
Interesting.
And they're amazing at 2 more things: baseball, or 3 more things. Baseball, obviously, live music. Some of the greatest live music I've ever seen, because they don't have jukeboxes. They don't give a shit about that. So every bar had a live band,
cool.
And they were all excellent. And sex work. Everyone there is a sex worker.
Damn, you skip right over cigars.
Yeah, I mean cigars are
didn't like the top 3.
Cigars, we knew this already.
Yeah. Oh, right.
But like
sex work. They're just good hookers.
Well, no. Everyone being a sex worker in Havana or in Havana anyway, it's like driving for Lyft or Uber. Everyone could do it if they want to. You learn that pretty fast.
Whoa.
Like, because my buddy, the first night we were there, he's like hanging out with this amazingly hot Cuban. We meet her at this bar. She's hanging out with us, and he takes her back to the room, and then he like comes back and he's like, "I need money." And basically, she was like, "Hey, I'll fuck you, but I'm never going to see you again. So $200, $200." And he's
like, "Yeah, sure, okay."
And then like you're at
200.
the bar.
That's not bad.
And then you're at the bars, and women are talking to you, and some of them are 1,000% obvious sex workers, and they're pitching to you right away. And then some of them are like they're dressed down a little bit, but they just look like normal, but they're being a little more flirtatious. Yeah. And sometimes it's like, oh, you're American. They don't see a ton of Americans. But then other times you're like, so if we were to leave here and they're like, I would, maybe what would it take? How much do you want me to come hang out with you? And you're like, wow. I see. But it's like, it makes sense to me.
It does make sense.
It makes
you would like a price tag around their neck, but it's almost like, nah, flirt me into like making a bad financial decision.
Like, I kind of get that across the board, especially for like American girls. If you're like a young, hot, promiscuous-minded person and you know a guy's got money and you're like, you know what? I'm horny enough and I could use $1,000.
Yeah.
What's the harm in that?
I like the ones in Vegas where anyone's dressed like prom is like probably a hooker, and then unless they're maybe on prom, and then if you're like hi, if they don't just like ugh and walk away, like that's a hooker. Yeah,
dude, like the straight up, but like that shit.
The
was
dress
awesome.
normal girls is almost like more enticing.
1,000%.
Because you feel like you're actually winning him over or something like that, or it's like you never do this, right? I'll change your life with this 200.
And like
you don't already have cum dripping out of you.
Okay. I mean, and I'm talking about like. And you gotta. I'm talking about Cuban women.
Right.
It's just a different. They're all.
Oh, hey everybody. I'm Mike Will. Today's episode of You Be Trippin is brought to you by Shopify.com. Are you looking to set up an online retail store at your website like I did at Shaffir.com? Look no further than Shopify. They'll help you set up your online platform, help with everything along the way, from just getting started, all the way up until making a million dollar stage. Me, I'm selling used toothpaste runoff. That's right. I take my toothpaste runoff
and I bottle it, and then I sell it online. I'm a rich and famous guy. People pay for anything these days for rich and famous people. Yeah, I've got about $1 billion. You know that Joe Rogan deal with Spotify? Well, guess what? They paid me $50 million to advise him to do it. He was going to turn it down. Yeah, and now I'm rich, and I'm famous, like Dan Bilzerian. And I can sell anything. With the help of Shopify.com, they do it all. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout. Sign up for your $1 a month per month trial at Shopify.com/trippin. That's all lowercase. That's Shopify.com/trippin. And upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/trippin. That's right. You want this? It's only $9.99 at my website right now, RShaffir.com. Help built by Shopify. Yeah, $9.99. Oh, wait. Did you think... $10. It's $999 for a fucking celebrity's toothpaste runoff. Get it. Supplies are low because I just literally can't like brush my teeth quite this much. It takes some time and it's like bothersome, after a while. But every time I smoke, I fill up another bottle with sweet, hot toothpaste runoff. Again, that's Shopify.com/trippin. Now let's get back to the episode.
Well, that was the thing about walking around in a communist country. Like, the first thing you notice,
yeah,
no obese people.
Really? Oh, no extra food.
Look, exactly. So, like, at first you're like, wow, everyone here is fucking hot and in shape. And then you go, oh, but wait a second. They don't have the option to be fat. You know what I mean?
Jesus. Yeah.
Or like obese. You saw some people are just pudgy naturally. But like
it's baby weight.
But I'm saying, like, you didn't see any, like, you didn't see anything like you see now, like families in Walmart that are all wearing athletic gear or like athletic suits because it's the only thing.
Did they have like the black Latino like that?
Yeah,
they
bro.
did. They had
a lot of that. A lot of like I think people from the Dominican Republic
would go there.
Or yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Hot Cuban girls and hot Cuban women.
Dude, every woman you saw in Cuba was outlandish.
Damn.
All of them.
Yeah, so that's like someone you'd want. Like, it's not like some of the girls in Thailand are like, ugh, what am I doing this for?
No, yeah, it's not. I mean, I've never been in Thailand, but like, yeah, they were all I remember there was one night where, so there's 10 of us, the Bachelor and probably 4 other guys did not have, or all had, wives and girlfriends, so they were all checked out, but and I was with Caitlin at the time, so it was like, nah, But there was 3 dudes there who 3 of our buddies who we all lived vicariously through.
Really?
Oh, because they were just going fucking ape shit. Like
So
like
great.
twice a night.
What a specific type of dude behavior where like,
Yeah.
I need you to do this, man.
And they were like, yeah, sure. Yeah. But like every bar we'd go to.
When I go to the beach with my friends,
yeah.
we do beach weekends, and they're like, "You trying to get laid this weekend?" I'm like, "No, guys, I'm hanging out with you. We see each other once a year. Like, you can get laid though." I'm like, "If I wasn't with you, maybe." But guys, I see you once a year.
Yeah.
We're all hanging
We're
out.
best friends. We're catching up, man. We're all getting older.
They're like, "Please do this."
Yeah. Oh, dude, 100%. Like, there was motherfuckers just like, you were cheering them on. You were like, go put yourself in a dangerous situation. Well, that was the thing, too. So I went with my one buddy because that was the weird thing was we're at the, so it was our,
So this is still in Vardar?
no, this is all Havana.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
because that was the other thing. We check into the hotel.
Oh, right.
We
Yeah.
tell my buddy tells the receptionist, like, hey, I'm fucked. I left. Can you call?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like I left my passport. She's like, well, here, call that hotel. We'll call, and he calls. He's like, hey, so I was in this room. I left my passport. We're all expecting him to be like, sorry, didn't find anything. And they were like, oh, no, we were expecting your call. Yeah, we have it here. We'll hold on to it for you. And so I was like, oh, okay, thank you. So then he says that out loud, and the receptionist is like, yeah, just get one of the taxi guys. They'll go do it. Just pay them for it, but just like give
And like, how
just
much would
go
that
grab
cost?
one of the taxi guys and like
How much would it cost them to
well,
drive
that's what
2
we
hours
said.
and back?
We were like, what would be reasonable?
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't know, ask them. So we're like, all right, fuck it. So we find this dude, Pepe was his name, coincidentally enough, and he's like, I'll do it for €100, or and we were like
5 hours of driving, 4 hours,
4
a hello,
yeah.
and then right
Yeah.
back in your car.
and he's like, yeah, and we were
Gas included?
like, he just said that, and we were like, all right, man, fuck it, yeah, you'll do it, and he's like, yeah, no, right now, see you. And he's like, and it was like 4-ish p.m. at this point. He's like, yeah, see you at 8 p.m. Just meet me here. And we're like, all right, or 8:30 or something. Like, cool. And so we go dick around. We're having fun. We go to what's called a Paraderos, which is, I think I'm saying it right, but like it's the restaurants in Cuba all suck. So people turn their houses into restaurants.
No.
So you go to these restaurants and
Do you
it's
have any
like
pictures of these things?
that was the thing that pissed me off the most. None of us thought to take pictures.
Wow.
And I specifically did not bring a fucking phone charger. So my phone died the first night. I'm sorry, not a phone charger, an adapter. So my phone died the first fucking night in town. And I was like, well, cool. But yeah, you'd go into people's homes.
What is it called? The Paradero?
The way I'm remembering it, it was Paradaros. But I am going to fuck.
Okay. And it's just Paradisos? Verdero?
Do you want me to call my friend and get him to say it?
No, it's okay.
Okay, because he'll fucking. He was
all
like,
right.
here, man. But you go
And so you just go to someone's house and they cook for you?
and you walk in and it's like the living room has like 4 tables, and then the rest of it's just the house.
What was the food?
That's the thing. It wasn't like mind blowing because it's not. They don't have great ingredients. They don't. It's all
Yeah.
government control, but they get the stuff from the government. And like,
But also when you think about Cuban food, it's never in the running for it's like Italian,
Right.
Indonesian, Thai, Chinese, Mexican. No one thinks of Cuba in that top 20 list.
and also like Cuban sandwiches were invented in Miami, so
And those aren't even like, wow. It's just like,
Right.
I want a Cuban sandwich
Yeah.
today. But you're not like,
exactly.
I mean, it's slightly above a BLT.
And like exactly, and like you'd say like because we did that at the hotel one night.
Red
drunk.
beans, like, okay.
Yeah, we were at the hotel one night drunk. We were like, can we get? Because that was the other thing. Cuba is a true 24-hour city.
Really?
So shit just or Havana, it just nothing closes. It's just like yep. It's just the bartenders will be in there, and so we were at this hotel bar and we were like, can we get some? Where can we get some Cuban sandwiches? And the guy was like, Miami, and we were like, ha, nice.
Really?
Yeah, he was like, all right, yeah, we get it. It's not a Cuban. It's a Cuban thing that
interesting.
invented in America. by
You know,
Cubans.
pad thai was invented by a cowboy in Thailand in the 70s.
A cowboy?
An American cowboy.
Oh,
They
no
called him
shit.
the cowboy. Yeah,
That's
he helped
fucking funny.
make patpong and all that place, and he wanted something different, and it's just they all eat it now.
Well, also like what a cashew nut chicken
Yeah.
invented in Springfield, Missouri.
No.
Yeah, Springfield, Missouri. Yeah, that's like when you go to Springfield, Missouri. They're like, "Hey, have you had
We're the
cashew nut here?" And you have it, and you're like, "It tastes like everywhere else."
Yeah, I love when those places like you gotta have it here. I'm like, no, it was invented here, but it's not like
Yeah,
or like Anchor Bar in Buffalo. we invented the buffalo wing. Like, yeah, but everyone passed you.
Yeah.
It's not freshest
or
here.
like most cities in the Midwest, like, have you had cheese curds? Like, no, but I've had mozzarella sticks. I'm not sorry. I'm not trying to be a dick here, but
The only time it's good is like
it.
it's like, have you had halibut that we caught an hour ago?
Yes.
You know, they're
Oh,
like,
yeah,
okay,
like
great, fine, yes.
Seafood or
Yeah.
You know, I could be a purist about New Orleans. I mean, I do. I
Oh,
will.
yeah, New Orleans.
I will
Like, you're not
argue
gonna
that
get-
nowhere outside of New Orleans has mastered New Orleans food, even come close. Not even novice mastered it or
Interesting.
novice it.
There's no place here in L.A.? How's that place in Denver, Nolans?
It's not bad. It's just
Yeah, yeah.
they do little things wrong. Like they use and I mean, David and I went to this place. David Cross and I went to this place in Bloomington, Bloomington, Indiana. That was like a New Orleans chef and like a New Orleans guy. And my ultimate test of New Orleans food is red beans and rice. Because
They can do that right. That's a cheese
it's
pizza
such a
slice to
fucking
compare it.
simple. Yes, it's a simple. It's also my favorite New Orleans dish. It's just.
But they have that in Cuban, too. It's kind of overlaps, right?
what
Red beans and rice?
red beans and rice? No, not like that. Not like
But they're different styles.
yeah,
but like they
completely
have it.
different. Yeah, and this guy like was.
Yeah.
I remember the waiter being like, "Oh, our red beans and rice are world renowned." I'm like, "We'll see," and and it was like they
your fucking
just
thing
they
in.
brought it. It was the wrong rice.
Wow.
You're supposed to use fat fucking jasmine rice, and they brought out basmati rice.
Also, you're
Which
not
is that
just from
long
New
grain
Orleans. Your
Indian
dad was
shit.
a fucking chef.
Yeah, still, and like so, it's like you just it's everywhere. Does like there's a place here that does good po' boy like sandwiches, but they do it on the wrong bread. You know, and there's places that
That's
like
how Mexican is. They
Yeah.
try to find actually. I mean, California does it well, especially the Tex-Mex tacos in general. New Orleans, SoCal, but like we finally found a place, one truck that was like, oh, this one's good. And then we went to Mexico City and had a bunch of tacos, and then came back and went to that place. We're like, oh, it's bullshit. We're so devoid of anything. They're like, oh, that's how I am with Nolans in
Yeah.
Denver. We're like, all right, gumbo.
and like yeah, but
You
then
ever been to Yachts? You ever been to Yachts in Indy?
no,
That's
I'll give it a go.
give that a
Their
go.
place because the place in Gumbo, I mean the place in Denver. I remember like I had the gumbo and I was like, this is a light roux though. The roux's not dark enough, and it just kind of—it's more of like a spicy,
You're such a cunt.
a spicy
You're
soup. But like
such a
it's
fucking cunt.
it's what gumbo needs to be. You know?
Find your trigger.
It's like
I think you'll walk out of a room and some
if
guy
you
does
went
a
and
joke
ordered
wrong.
matzo ball soup and it all came out in squares,
Yeah, like this is a fucking matzo
It's
ball.
not matzo
Everyone's
ball.
like, who cares, man? I'm like, no, you don't understand.
matzo cube soup. It's not the same fucking thing.
It's so fun to find a comedian's trigger.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
never what you think,
Ever.
but it will make them leave a room if the joke is like, nope, I'm out
Dude,
of here.
it was fucking ridiculous.
Okay, so
But
okay,
like,
yeah.
but so we go fuck around. Okay, we go this and we're fucking around and we get back to the hotel and motherfucker Pepe shows up on time with the passport and we drop. So he asked for 100. We gave him €250, and he was just like he hugged all of us and was just like just hugged us and was so fucking happy. And then one of the hotel guys was like, yeah, you guys realize you just gave him like a month's salary.
Wow. He was already like
In his
at
mind,
100. He's like, I can't believe I took these guys
yeah,
for 100.
exactly. Like, and we doubled it in half. We like blackjacked him. We like gave it double and a half, whatever. You know, you're like when you win at black.
It does. It is nice. It also
Yeah.
does fuck up the economy.
But it was also like, you know, and then we're like, all right, great. And then we went out and we rented we found these. So like we started calling it Uber. Or because basically, if you want to ride in Cuba, in Havana, just stick your hand out.
No way.
Fucking civilians will pull over and
What?
be like, "How many? Where do you want to go?"
And charge you or just
Yeah,
Wow.
there's taxis too, but like,
Like, I'll do it. I'm going that way.
And we found these two brothers who owned a '57 Chevy and a '57.
Oh yeah, the cars.
Yeah, they own the cars, and like they explained it to us. They were like, "Our grandfathers passed these down. The engines have been rebuilt. We have to rebuild them we have to like." Upkeep, but like they get passed down from generation to generation, and they're everywhere. I do actually have. I'll fish it out for you. The one picture I took was
Yeah.
as we arrived. As we arrived in Havana, I took it on my buddy's phone, who had like a little bit of juice left. And I sent it to myself. So I have one picture of a bunch of these cars parked. But like we found these they were brothers. And they're like, "There's 10 of you. We can fit 5 in each car." And they're like, "We'll just drive you around all night." And we were like, "For how much?" And they were like, And they talked for a minute. And like, €10 a person. And we were like, "What? Yeah."
I was just like, right before you said
Yeah.
they go 6. Oh wait! You said yes. You said yes.
Like, okay, it's 4.
Okay, fine. I didn't know you guys weren't.
I mean, 40 apiece. Yeah. But like, they drove us to this real Russian restaurant because like there was a legit Russian spot.
Oh yeah, the communists.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So we had some like real pierogi, real Russian food, real like hardcore borscht.
Russian food in Cuba, of course.
Yeah, dude.
Of course.
Yeah. And then they took
What?
us. They took us to this like. There's no beaches in Havana, but it's a seaside city. So or oceanside city. So they took us like oceanside bar, and we got fucking crazy, wild fucking shit faced. And they took the three cowboys. They took them on hooker banging runs.
Really?
Like they drove them to go. Yeah. So, and we
What a
hung
good
out.
bachelor trip.
Dude, it was awesome. And we were getting fucking wasted, and they drove us back to the hotel. And then we wanted to go to this one other bar, like on the other side of town. They were still just hanging out, and they drove us there, drove us back. And we gave them $15 a person. And like, or 15, and they were like, oh, and we were like, yeah, guys, we're the kings. And I mean, it was nuts, dude.
Was this how it was? The cars? I've heard of the cars.
Yeah,
Like they
100%.
don't have enough money to. This even article says it's a sign of their deprivation and not like cool. But I have heard it's like all these old cars and they're everywhere.
Yeah. 100%.
Is this like a normal scene?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Wow.
And they're all like rebuilt with like the engines are rebuilt with like
They just keep the bodies.
they keep the bodies. Yeah, they just like they'll take engines out of shittier cars
Wow.
yeah, but they're everywhere, dude. They were fucking everywhere. And it's awesome to see. You're just like, wow. But like when you get in one of those things, it smells. It's got that old car smell. Like it's got no shocks. Yeah. But like, dude, so one night, the last night we were there, or the second to last night we were there, one of my buddies wanted to go. I went with him to go because we were at this bar, and it was like our third or fourth night. We're all a little more. We were at the hotel bar of the hotel that Jay-Z and Beyonce stayed at. Right?
What?
Like, yeah, they stayed at some, I can't fucking, Hotel Presidente, I believe it was called, maybe.
Yeah.
They stayed at some hotel in
Downtown Havana?
Yeah, we were kind of like in like uptown Havana. They stayed like downtown, and we went to there, and we're drinking on the roof, and we're smoking cigars, we're having a good time. And there's, of course, women of the night. And one of my friend, the guy who's like, he's like, I want to do it, man. Will you come with me? It was like the kind of thing.
He
where it was
talk
like,
himself into getting a hooker?
yeah, and it was the thing where it was like, I've known this dude forever, and it was like, all
You
right.
come with me to do what? Hold his hand?
'cause, like,
act like it's his wife that he's fucking cucking?
But that was the thing. He's just like, it's weird because he'd already talked to her. He's like, she wants me to go with her to her place. But I'm like, dude, I'm like,
Dangerous. He's worried
I'm
about
like,
danger.
But I'm like, motherfuckers have been doing it all week.
Yeah,
What are you
right.
worried- What are you worried
it's
about?
scoped out.
Fuck it, I'll go with you. But then there was that side of me where I was like, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Fuck it. So I go, and we get in the car with the dude and the girl, and two in the back seat, and she's like, and her English was really broken. She's like, I only do one at a. And I'm like, no. I'm like, no. Hey. I'm just coming.
not what I was suggesting.
I'm like, coming, mi amigo, just coming to hang out. I'm like, my terrible Spanish. I'm like,
My buddy is gay. Not
Yeah.
like you would think gay. Gay in a different way where he's scared
Yeah,
to
yeah.
fuck a hooker.
My buddy is he's not gay, but
He's
definitely
like a pussy.
not gay, but definitely
Definitely.
but not gay at all. Had nothing to do with that. But
Let me teach you about American colloquialism.
yeah, but he straight up like we go, and I'm like, I'm just gonna drink cerveza, and being a fucking idiot. But the dude driving, his English was way better, and he's like, that's fine, it's fine. So we get to, it's like a house, it's like a 10-minute drive. We go in the house, all of us walk in. He just hangs out by the car. The three of us walk in. She explains to this woman, this older woman there, like, I'm just gonna hang out. So they go into a bedroom. I go sit in this living room area. The woman brings me a beer, and she's just like, wait. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I'm just gonna sit here, and I can't, and there's like things happening, so it's like it's not like I can hear what's going on in there.
Yeah.
But the fucking fun part was I'm sitting there for like 2 minutes, and this fucking maybe 14-year-old kid comes down the stairs and bangs on the door, and I was like, whoa. I'm like, I hope this is her pimp. I hope this is her. I don't give a fuck. And she like opens the door, and she's still dressed, and they fucking yell for a second, and she shuts it and then reopens it and hands him what looks like, it's like it looks like my guess was it was an old PlayStation controller. Because it was like I couldn't 100% see what it was. She just hands it to him. He takes it. He storms back upstairs. I'm like, oh, that was her little brother. I'm like, I'm like, wait, hold on a second.
Oh, he wanted an actual.
Like he was up in his room.
Well, you're supposed to tell him before you do tricks. My fucking Xbox in there.
Dude, it was straight up like, wait a second. Is that her mother? Is that her no, it's not her guy's too young to be her dad, but is that her other brother? I'm like, whoa.
That's so real.
And I was just sort of like, all right, man.
That's so real.
That's all right. Yeah. And they're just in there for a minute, and I'm just sitting there drinking, and then this other woman comes in, who was a pure, in my opinion, 10. Like a pure, just like, oh wow, you're the most attractive.
It's just like you can't think straight. You can't
unbelievable.
Look at them. Yeah.
Like what? And she's dressed like just in like shorts and like a tank top. She's not. She looks like she was just somewhere hanging out. And she's like, oh hello. And her English is really good. And she's like, hello. And I'm like, oh hi. And she's like, are you? I'm like, no, my friends, just having, they're on date night. Ha. She's like,
I'm just the guy who hangs out really fun.
Like,
That's not my thing at all. I have a friend who's doing it. What's going on?
But then she was basically like, oh, and I'm like, she's like, are you on a date? And I'm like, no. She's like, let's go on a date.
Let's go on a date.
And I was like, oh, okay. 100% fold right there.
How could you not if she's at
100%. And she takes me into another room and fucks my brains out.
No way.
Yeah.
Condom or no condom?
Condom.
Who had
100%.
the condom?
She did. Yeah. And,
What did she, what was she dressed at? Did she just go naked or did she have lingerie?
straight up walked in, no bra, shirt off.
Was there a bed in there?
Yeah. It was just another room.
And she goes, here's her condom.
And she's like, she was like $250. 250. I
You're
gave
like,
her.
I would have given you 5,000.
I gave her 3. I had a bunch of fucking euro on me.
That was Bobby's advice.
What?
When I went to Tijuana.
Yeah.
He goes, it's $72. Put $100 on the table and say that's for you. Once they know they're already getting tipped, they work harder.
Same. I gave her 250. All right, I gave her 3. She said 250. I said sure. Gave her 3, and then she just
How was it?
Amazing, dude.
Was it clinical at all? Was she actually going getting into it?
It felt like a workout. It felt like like she was sparring and I was her sparring partner.
Wow.
And it was probably 20 minutes. She went to fucking town, and it was just 1,000 fucking times. Just crazy. And then afterwards she just fucking rolled over, lit up a cigarette. We talked for a few seconds, and I don't want to. She's like, do you want a cigar? And I was like, actually, sure. And she gave me and I smoked some of it, and then we just hung out for a second, and then we heard.
You hung out for a second.
And then I got dressed. I had my shirt, I was just pantsless.
You're just like, I gotta get in there.
Yeah. And then I did nothing, dude. She basically on the bed went to town. Cowgirl, reverse cowgirl, side cow. Just was like, that's what I'm saying. It felt like I am a punching bag for fucking.
What?
See what I'm saying? I'm a fucking bag.
It's like doing one of those.
I'm the heavy bag.
One of those crazy high fives with a black guy, and you just put your hand out, and they do all the stuff for you.
Exactly.
Like this. You're
I
like,
was the
what?
heavy bag and the sweet bag.
What did I do? You're the heavy bag.
But
sorry, I didn't catch it.
But yeah, she and then my buddy and I come out, and I remember he was like, "Where'd you go?" And I'm like, "Shut the fuck up."
Shut the fuck up, dude.
And the guy's just
Narc,
waiting.
shut the fuck up.
And the guy's waiting. He drives us back.
We're only down to 22.5. That's what I'm saying.
But he was just like, I don't know, it was kind of weird. How was it for you? I'm like, it was a fucking weird. What are you talking about? That shit was dope as shit. I was insane. I was so great, dude, that so at the time I had a girlfriend at the time, but we were long distance and she was living in England still.
Yeah.
So I was so good that I told her about it. Because I was
What'd
like,
she say?
She was like, I don't. She's like, great.
It is surprising.
She was like, I
There's
understand.
a certain type of woman who says getting jerked off by a massage parlor lady is not even cheating.
Right.
They're just like, that's nothing. You were never going to go out with them again. So that part of it, it's like, I'm not challenged by that.
And I wasn't cocky or arrogant, but I was just like, hey, look, I should tell you this. On the bachelor party, I partook.
Yeah.
And she was like, whatever, dude, I get it. I was living in England. I told her later. I didn't tell her when she got back to America 6 weeks later or 6 months later. But I told her eventually.
And she was like, whatever.
She's like, fuck it, it's okay. But it was fucking dope as shit, dude.
Wow, you earned points for being honest.
Yeah. And then
Wow.
went back, met up with everybody else.
$250. Worth it.
worth every. Dude,
no part of you regrets.
If
no
I had,
part of you would rather have that 250 back than that
no,
that
dude,
300 back than
that. Three times as much if I had it on me. And then like and plus, according to my buddy who speaks
worker
Spanish,
ally.
the Cuban accent sounds a lot. It's like a Boston accent. To English, like Cuban accent is to Spanish, like a Boston accent is to American.
Wow. Did your friends have trouble understanding them? The friends who spoke Spanish, they didn't have any trouble.
My buddy,
I've heard Cuban is the hardest Spanish to know.
He laughed at it a lot. Like he would like, and he'd look at me and be like, "Dude, some of the shit they're saying is just some of the enunciation is just wild."
It's like, well, you've been
Wow.
in Edinburgh. The Glaswegians are
Oh,
like,
like
what are you saying?
Yeah,
They say it
yeah.
again. You're like, what language are you speaking? Like, English.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, you got to spell what you're saying.
Oh, speak in English, Donny. Like, what? Donny? What's that? A word?
Who's Donnie?
I don't know. Yeah. Glaswegian. Yeah, dude, that shit's. But the fun part was the very last night we were there. We're all fucking dragging ass.
Right.
You know, and this is where we like
This
bottle of
reminds me-
rum. We
yeah.
all get some cigars, and we're just walking around downtown. And it's like you're seeing. That's the other thing. Like that's the thing about communism, where it's like everyone has what they need, but they're poor in every other way. You know what I'm saying? It's like seeing that shit. You're like, I don't know, man. Like I get it. Like,
It got to you?
but it's not communism. Fucking no. It's not good.
Yeah.
And you're seeing it firsthand. And like there's advertisements for the government and shit on billboards. You're like, that's just weird. And like people, you're walking down the street and like, mira, gringo, you know, and you're like, people are coming out of their house looking at you, and like kids are constantly running up to you asking you for money. It's never ending.
That's not fun.
But it's like you can tell they're not poor, but you can tell they're just
Give me money. Come on, give me some.
They're just existing.
And that means they've gotten some plenty of times.
And you're giving it to them. You're
Yeah.
giving it to them.
Wow.
And so we end up at this one bar at this other hotel downtown, and we're puffing away on the last of the cohibas. And this older dude comes over and he's like, "Pardon me, gentlemen, are you American?" And we're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, I love Americans. We don't get men, etc." And he sits down with us and he lights up like his own like little shorty. He goes, "May I ask where you obtained your cigars?" And we're like, "Oh, fucking Varadaro, or we bought a shitload." And he's like, "May I see one?" And he's like, "Do you have an arrow?" And we had like a couple left, and he takes a look at it, and he's like, "Come with me." And we're like, "Yo, what the fuck is this, dude? What?" He's like, Come with me. And we're like, "Dude, all right." And only if like there were a couple of the other guys like digging around, so like 4 of us went with this dude, and we go into a hotel room with them, and he has a magnifying glass, and he under a light, and he takes a look at the cigar, and he's like, "May I?" And we're like, "Yeah." I don't even know what he's saying. And he like rips it open, and he takes a look, and he goes, I do not want to be the one to tell you this, but these are Dominican. He's like, "These are not real Cuban cigars." And we're like,
imported them into Cuba?
"What?" And he's like, "Yes, it happens here too." He's like,
They imported them into Cuba to fake a Cuban cigar?
we were smoking fake Cubans in Cuba, and we were like, "What?" And he's like, "I understand." And we're fucking not venting, but we're all like, "That kind of sucks." He's like, "Tell you what," because by this point we'd known it was a bachelor party. He's like, "Who's the bachelor?" And we're like, "Oh, this guy." And he's like, "Nah." And he like opens his own little
That
case.
here comes the scam.
Well, no, he gives him a Monte Cristo.
Oh.
And he's like, "Congratulations." And one of those big fucking Tony Soprano joints. And my boy lights it up, and he's like, and we all take a puff, and it's like, "Oh yeah, that is like obviously." It's like obvious. It's like smoking.
Where'd you get the other ones? On the street?
No, we got it at the fucking
At a store?
in the fucking resort.
Oh, wow.
So it was like, okay, so we spent most of our Cuban, and then we went and bought a bunch like wherever we could find them that night and smoked. Like these are real Cubans, right? And then because we've been apparently smoking, but then like you could tell the difference once. But we bought like a box, so we thought we were just ripping down real ones all the time. But yeah, but then
Could you bring any back? Or do they just, like, how does that work?
totally brought them back. You could bring them back to, but that was the other funny part was we get back to when we fucking fly back out at 6 a.m. We have to drive back to Varadaro, so we had to get on a bus at 4 or like 3, get back. We get on the flight back, and we're going back to Canada. We land in Toronto, and we've all decided we're gonna lie to American customs because we didn't get our passports
It's
stamped
the right way to go. Oh, you didn't get your passport stamp. How do you do that?
by buying health insurance.
They say we won't stamp your passport.
They never said it, but when we paid him for the health insurance, he was just sort of like, Go ahead.
So wait, you go through Toronto. This is key information.
Yeah.
Because if you go through Miami, they're like, we know where you just came from.
Right.
If you go through Toronto, they're like, you're just boarding a plane. You're
Right.
coming from Toronto. Why would we think you have Cuban cigars in Toronto when you're going
Yeah.
from Toronto to New York
Yeah.
or Toronto to LA?
Exactly.
That's not a Cuban cigar hub.
We had all concocted different versions of law. We're all like, right?
Elaborate.
But the thing
My name is Art Vandelay.
dude, and like this is the one part that's like shady or like spotty for me. I just simply remember somehow we all got fucking separated at customs. 10 of us.
That's how they get you.
Yeah. And I remember going through
Yeah, keep going.
and I get, and like you know, you know me well enough to know that like I'm a pudgy bearded guy, and the one thing that I fucking hate the most is when people tell me that I look like other pudgy bearded comedians or anyone, Jack Black, anyone, because I'm like, I don't think we look alike. I just think you can't see past pudgy beard.
Racist against for fat beard.
And this was 9 years ago, so I was less fat and my beard was all dark.
Yeah.
But I go through and I'm in it's this female customs agent. She's like, where are you coming from? I was like, oh, bachelor party here, my buddy in Toronto. And I'm ready to give her all this information, right? And she looks at me for a second. She goes, you look like that guy from The Hangover? Which normally I would just be like, mm-hmm. But in that moment, I was like, I know, right? It's great. I hear it all the time. I'm just like, I know, it's fucking, have you seen it? And she's like, I haven't seen the second one. And I'm just like, oh, the second one's great. And I just start telling her, which I think the second one sucks.
The second one sucked.
But
that was
it was
Bangkok.
rushed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just like
That
telling
was a
her all
fucking
this shit
money
where I'm
grab.
like, hey, no, it's great. And I'm just playing it up. And she's like, oh, welcome back to the United
I love
States.
how you're like, it's great. I'm not that guy, but I can tell you a bunch of details about him.
And she just stamps it and is like, all right, come on through. And I'm like, whoo. And then and of course, then I meet everyone. We're all fucking basically the same, area. And I'm like, dude, fucking, I told him I was like, I just said that we were at a bachelor party and all of them were like, oh, we just told the truth. I was like, when did that fucking get decided? When did that fucking get decided? I'm stressed out.
One time I was going, the first 2 times I went to Canada, they were like, hey, don't tell them why you're here. Don't just invent a story. Have someone in mind you're thinking of. So then whatever. And so then I went for either Yuck Yucks or Brunson. And I was like, what are you here for? I'm like, just here to visit my friend, Susie. I picture her in college. Like, yeah, she lives here. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. What are you doing? It's like, yeah, we're just a few days. She's like, cool. So it's not, you're not working? I'm like, no. And then she like turns the screen around. Like, so this flyer is not with you on it saying you're playing in 2 days? That's not you? And I was like, she goes, they filled out the paperwork though. Like, why did you lie? You're legal here. And I'm like,
Dude.
She goes, just go.
That's nice that they said.
But
just
she was
go,
like, you
dude.
did the right paperwork. You're just used to the fucking scam ones.
Dude,
you know what you reminded me of? When I was like,
I just want you to know, I feel that anxiety.
yeah, I was like,
Of like, cool,
like,
I just fucked myself out of thousands of dollars.
I gotta go home. I
Yeah.
don't even know. So I'm just on the hook for flights that I'm not gonna make any money on. When I went to Melbourne and I was just on tour in Australia,
Yeah.
and you were doing the whole month at the Melbourne Festival.
Yeah, I remember that,
overlapped for a week. I did a week there, but
Yeah,
I was
we
just
hung out,
touring
yeah.
the whole thing. And I got there 2 weeks into the festival, and you and Kanane, you talk about dragging ass.
Oh,
I was
buddy.
like, hey guys, I'm in Melbourne. Let's hang out. And you're like, oh, fuck.
Dude.
And I was like, no, I'm in Melbourne. I thought I was having a good time. You're like, we've been here 2 fucking weeks, man. We've drank so fucking hard every night.
Dude.
You and Kanane together.
I'm convinced Kyle is like an actual real living version of Wolverine.
Like his liver just heals itself.
Like, dude, I think he's 116 years old, but only looks like he's in his 40s. And like, cause like that guy, cause that was the thing. Every night we'd end up in Melbourne. We'd end up at that one massive bar that everyone would go to the festival, City Club or whatever it was called.
Okay.
And every night it was like, I'll go there for 1 or 2, cut 2 hours later.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then on the walk back to the condos they had us in, there was a McDonald's, and it was open 24 hours, and it's the same thing every time. Kyle would go, "You want to get some Meccas?" Because how they say McDonald's, he's like, "I want to get some Meccas," and we'd fucking go house a Big
pies.
Mac. Because and that was the thing, we were like that drunk, being like, "It's better and it's healthier in Australia. McDonald's is healthier in Australia."
I am convinced of that. That is true.
I mean, nominally.
I'm convinced it's
Nominally.
majorly.
You
Dude,
think
I ate like
majorly?
such shit in Edinburgh, such shit every night, and I lost weight. and I ate just fast food, late night food every night. It was worse than I normally am, and I lost weight. I think that's what I believe. I know I have not enough data points to prove it.
Dude, I mean,
There are some fat Australians.
but then also you're talking about Edinburgh where you're like moving around all day. And,
True, 100% true. I see why you'd second guess it.
Yeah, because like I think it's like I think it's probably like a Big Mac in the States is 3,000 grams of sodium. In Melbourne, or milligrams of sodium. In Melbourne, it's 2,400.
Do the accent.
Melbourne?
Do the whole fucking Australian.
No. It's only address is only a single dollar. It's only a terrible accent, dude.
You're the best in Australia.
It's only 2,400 milligrams. No, fucking Ari's on a flipper. Gaffer. You remember that episode of The Simpsons where they just shit on Australia?
Yeah, the whole time.
Where he's like,
You gotta talk to your mayor. Charles! Charles, she wants a...
Or he sees a bullfrog and he's like, what's that? And they're like, it's a bullfrog. He goes, oh, that's a funny name for it. I'd have called it a Chezawezza.
Yeah, Marge is like, I want a coffee. He's like, beer? Like, no, coffee. Like, beer? Like, coffee. Beer?
Yeah. I mean, I will say that's an under-known thing about Australia is they fucking destruct coffee. They do coffee.
They do it great. I had so many flat whites. I was there a month, recently. It was like...
Flat whites? I'm a long black. I like a long black.
Long black is just coffee.
It's basically just an Americano.
Yeah, right.
Basically. But long black. Longer black. Have a parma. They do. The chicken parma.
Chicken parma is good with a little thing of ham or kangaroo on top of it.
Well, that's the thing. They claim that they invented it.
I believe it.
I didn't believe it till the second time I went and was like, why? How? And they were like, all the fucking Italian prisoners that were shipped here.
And they invented it. They also claim they wiped out the indigenous people there, and they also did that.
They did.
So I have no reason to doubt their words.
In fact, it did because before every show, it's like, we acknowledge the heritage
of the Umba Wumba,
like,
the proud Umba Wumba people
and
who
you
had just taken over the Maharata people.
You're like, how many of them have you brought back with this?
It's so funny there and Canada where you got to do it's a comedy show and you got to do a sad so we ended up raping a lot of people and just murdering them, burning their house down. Hey, please welcome Sean Patton.
Yeah, and we just want to remind you of that.
It's so out of place. And it's like, what at clubs when they go, guys, turn off your pagers and cell phones, and like they're still saying pagers sometimes. Turn off your and no one's ever taken out a cell phone, turn it off, mute. Yeah. It just goes over people's heads. That's how it is in Australia and Canada with those things.
You know what? I miss.
And black people are like, what about us? You mistreated us too. Like, shut up.
They're like, hey, what are you doing? Don't be so loud.
Quit talking.
Remember to tip. You're like, Jesus. Wait, that's fucked up. You know what? You know what I miss?
What
generic shit I miss from comedy intros is. Does clubs and colleges everywhere.
Clubs and colleges everywhere.
Colleges.
Never done a college.
The go-to. Yeah, exactly.
Clubs but that was a big credit. No one understands how little comedy was then. Where that, he does clubs?
Oh, wow.
And now it's like.
Everywhere?
He's still doing clubs.
Colleges?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Wow.
What's Who even does colleges anymore?
Yeah.
No, but the.
Dude, that trip sounds fucking great.
It was amazing. It was fan-fucking-tastic.
What a great fucking time.
Like, it was one of those, like, you got back and you were just like, oh, man, I can't just drink rum in this. I mean, you can, but, like, it was just different. Like, every single bar we went to, every single night was packed, but not too packed. Had a band that was amazing.
That's cool.
Everyone was having an awesome time. But it was also, like, we met a fucking dickload of Europeans. So many Europeans.
Well, that's a cool part of travel too. It's not meaning like people of the area, but it's meaning other travelers.
Yeah.
So like in Indonesia, you're like, well, I get to know German culture from the other hostelers.
Yeah. I mean, that shit was rad, and we met like a couple of other like.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, that's all right, bro. You gotta get at it. Well, here was one crazy thing that I don't think we're fucking too far away from if we keep going down this political rabbit hole. But like, one night. We met this couple who were like basically like Americaphobes or Americaphiles, right?
A Cuban couple?
Yeah.
Who were into American culture.
Just so I mean, they were just because they don't. it's not like other countries where it's forced down their throat. Like they don't really.
They went to find it.
Yeah, because it's like the embargo, so they're not.
Yeah.
They know like little shit, but so they were like hanging out with us all night, and they were really cool. They were buying us drinks. They were telling us where to go for, you know. They were cool, and they came back to the hotel. We would go back to the hotel bar every night because it would stay open forever, and it had like a whole fucking porch. And we're out there, and they could both communicate in English, but they were speaking Spanish.
Okay.
And they're speaking to my buddy the whole time, the bachelor, who's fluent. And we're at the, and he's just asking him about life in Cuba. And at one point, the guy he's talking, but he keeps doing this. He keeps like covering his mouth while he's talking. And I keep noticing it, and I'm like, is he like? Yeah. And my buddy asked him, he's like, and he basically keeps his shit covered. And he goes, they have cameras here. If they see me talking poorly about Cuba, that could be bad. He's like, and
so like a first base coach when he goes out.
Yeah,
to
he would basically just be like, you know, the thing that sucks about living in Cuba is, you know, it is he's like, it could be bad. He's like, I've known people who have said something.
Why take a chance?
He's like,
that's interesting.
And you're like, yeah, that sucks. That's
that's when people say it's bad here. You're like, guys, little things bad. It's nothing close to. And like, it could go that bad. I'm like, I guess.
Yeah, let's
not
not
really though.
Let it,
not really though.
But like, yeah, I mean, I hope not. But like, yeah, that shit was weird. That's
20 steps further than us.
But I just remember that moment of realizing that, because then he was like, quickly, he's like, you guys are fine.
Does that make you appreciate? Does that make you just feel bad for them? Does it make you appreciate these states?
Oh, both. It makes me appreciate. I mean, like, because it's most for first world countries. You can just say whatever the fuck you want. You know what I mean? Like, but
we went to Montreux Comedy Festival. Me, ISO, Jessica Michelle, my daughter, and who else was there?
Your daughter?
Paul
Jessica
Morrissey.
Michelle's your daughter.
Yeah.
I had a moment where I was
Paul
like,
Morrissey.
you ain't got no fucking. Oh.
And then who else? Somebody else. Oh, the guy who does I never remember his name. Mike from Chicago. The Comics You Should Know.
Oh, Mike fucking Leibowitz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, what were we just talking about?
Shit you can or cannot say. You can talk whatever.
Oh yeah. So there was comedy. They were doing an English comedy part. It was a French festival, and they were doing a sketch fest too. And these one guys from the BBC, whatever they have, we have a sketch show on the BBC. And they're like, the interesting thing is it's state funded, so we do political stuff. So they pay us to make fun of them. They're like, we're allowed to say whatever we want. We're political, so we make fun of the government, but we're funded by the government. And they don't say, hey, don't do that. They just go, hey, here's for the arts. And their art is mocking the government. Like, they pay us to mock them. They're like, that's how free it is there.
Wait, where is this?
The United Kingdom.
Oh, UK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't, and that's crazy. They have to cover their mouth in Cuba just in case.
And the guy wasn't even, from what was being translated, he wasn't even saying anything that crazy.
Why risk it?
It was just, he was just pointing out. And then, of course, like, that's the other thing. Like, you can't just leave a communist country. And
you gotta be a ballerina.
It's not like exactly. It's not like a money thing. It's like they don't let motherfuckers go.
That's weird.
Sometimes. And I know there's exceptions, but like, you're like, dude, fuck all that. Like, that's the thing. Like,
Diaz came on a raft.
Yeah. Did he really?
Yeah, as a kid.
No shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I think his mom came on a fucking raft with him.
I didn't. I fucking didn't know that at all. I didn't know that guy was Cuban. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I gotta look at all three cameras for that. Otherwise, you got the fucking Diaz boys.
Sal's Cuban. He owned a raft store in Staten Island. His parents.
Wait, is he Cuban?
The Kayacatora. Yeah, he is. It's half Cuban.
No shit.
Yeah.
I just thought he was a fucking dirty
I know.
fucking
Oh, if you need a book, Sal, you need a checkbox book. That's Mexican.
Thought it was a dirty fucking guinea. Volcano. Yeah.
Vulcan. All right, before we go.
Yeah.
This trip sounds fucking badass. Here's what I usually ask people. I'll get back to it. I have a couple other questions first. If there's what are the places you want to go in general? Don't answer yet. Just think about it. Just one place or two places. And then if you have a general travel tip for anybody, and then think about those. It's like pack light, do whatever. Somebody said like grind up your mushrooms if you want to take it and put it in granola. What were the bathrooms like in Cuba?
I remember them being standard bathrooms. They weren't, nothing crazy. I mean, like I went to Malaysia and China once, and that's where you get the occasional squatter, and you're
potty.
like, this is not, because that's a coordinated effort.
There's no warning. There's no training seminar.
Yeah. You think it's going to be easy. How about this?
So hard.
Just throw this out there. I can't speak on behalf of women because I'm not one, but men. Yeah. You go, oh, okay, I could do this. I got to take a dump. I can just squat. I'll figure it out. Oh, but you didn't think about clearing a runway for your piss. So you go down and you just piss all over the back of your pants because you're not thinking about life without a toilet. Or in Malaysia, sometimes they had the bum gun.
Yeah,
it's like
those
the
are
little
great.
hose.
I love those.
You love that until you realize, oh yeah, you definitely go this way, not.
What did you go down?
No, like I went this way, I went back, and you were like, but it would just spray. I'm like, oh, the back of my pants are now all fucking wet.
Yeah. You're like, no, guys, not piss. It's toilet water.
But then you're like,
it's just toilet water.
Is that piss? Prove to me it's not. But that was fucking rad. Wait, a place I want to go?
Yeah, but also. Okay, first we'll do that one. What's calling you?
Man, I like Eastern Europe. So like the furthest east I've been is like Germany. But like
no, that's not. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, like I've never been to Italy. I want to go to Italy, but I'm talking about like Slovenia and like the Alps and like up in that area and like Croatia.
Yeah.
And then get into like Turkey. I want like that whole Greece and Turkey. Like
Greece is almost already like past what we're talking about in terms of like that backwards.
Like that area.
It's more east, but
I don't know why it just.
I just went.
It's awesome.
Romania,
right?
Slovenia.
Yeah, like all that.
Dude, and I want to go to all of them. I want to go to Hungary. Yeah. I want to go to all of them now. I'll hook you up with the booker from Romania. He's Romanian.
Oh, there's a club or like a show.
There's promoters. Sloss does it all the time. Sloss does like 2,000 seaters there.
Yeah, Sloss is huge.
Yeah.
Where?
It's so fucking wild. When I was in Slovenia, it hit me like who I was talking to. I was like, do any of you guys remember it not being Slovenia? And like a third of the room raised their hand. They're like, yeah, we remember Yugoslavia. Wow. It's a new country. Wow. And Romania's so fucking crooked. It's just, dude, you'll love it. I'll introduce you to the guy if you want to go. He also has a show in Istanbul that I gotta fucking remind him. I want to do that. Yeah, okay, that's a good one. Yeah, it's different there. It's not like Europe. It should be another continent.
Yeah.
It should be another continent, like Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary, not Austria. Austria is like over there. But like, Serbia, Romania, Bulgaria.
All this whole.
Sarajevo. Yeah, that's a city.
Like I just want to see all that shit.
Ljubljana was so fucking cool.
You know?
Yeah.
Wait, Ljubljana?
Ljubljana, Slovenia.
Oh yeah. I mean, like that. Wait, it was cool.
It's so cool.
So
dragons. There are dragons everywhere.
Dude, part of the reason. So, the first time I ever did that, like Spotify rap shit, you know what I'm talking about? That year end where like you see how many Spotify listeners you get. You can see regionally where, and outside of the U.S., huge listener base in Slovenia.
Of your stand-up?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm like, that made me go Slovenia, and then I started researching it, and I'm like, oh, this place looks fucking amazing.
Well, Ljubljana is this great fucking gothic, like with an old city town.
Love that shit.
And then people go there and they stay in Slovenia for like Ljubljana for like 2 days, but then the beach is like an hour and a half away. So they use that as like let's do this while we go to the beach.
Right.
You know, it's not like a 10-hour trip. It's just like it's a quick trip. You land here and go right there. Let's stay for the night and like good food.
But the beach is like right here on that it's like that little
it's this little like block right there. So you land there and then just drive there.
And the beach is dope. It's like a dope.
That's what I heard. I didn't get there. I just stayed in Slovenia.
Yeah, dude, I want to fucking do that shit.
Ljubljana, I mean. Yeah, I want to go to, all of it. Bucharest I did. Cluj-Napoca, Bucharest, Romania. Anyway. Okay, last two things.
Yeah.
That's a great one, Romania. Travel tips. And, also, this is the other one. What are some things you notice? Or what would you tell someone going to Cuba? Like prepare or not, or don't do? Or like make sure to do this? And also, what are some like observations you made about Cuba that like are not in a travel guide? Like Punky was talking about Jamaica. She goes, the ice melts incredibly fast. Oh. And I noticed it.
Really?
Yeah. She goes, it's like half ice. Anyway.
Is it because did she get
in Ecuador? The ice cream was very soft. That's something I noticed. Everywhere the ice cream, they don't freeze ice cream to the level we freeze it at.
Okay. In Cuba, this is rare. The comedy is stuck in like the Cars in the 50s because we went to a bar one night and there was this fucking stand-up comic like doing an hour.
Yeah.
And he was like dressed in like yellow pants and a big, like he's a big
Johnny
fat,
Banana.
yeah, just like, and he's up there just the guy, and like I was saying, none of us spoke very good Spanish, so my boy was translating the whole time, and it was basically like, oh no, butthole smells so crazy. It was like French comedy when you go to Quebec,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh no, look at how big my nose is,
Sacre bleu?
you know, sacre bleu. But we were like, this is fucking ridiculous. There's actually stand-up comedy happening. But it was like, it was less
Way behind.
stand-up comedy, more like the predecessor to Josh Adam Myers now. I'm just giving him a hard time.
I was asking Marcelo about it. I just got back from Miami, and I was saying how much I hated it. I mean, I had people, these girls were talking to Big J. We did a show together down there. And they're like, we liked you, but that other guy sucked. And he's like, no, what do you mean? He's good. He's my friend.
Wait.
And they're like,
They're
we're
saying
just
about Big J?
to Big J about me.
Oh, wow, okay.
And like, what do you like? Like, he said he's happy with school shootings. And he goes, no, I don't think he meant that. Like, he literally said he's happy when schools get shot. And he's like, okay. But Marcelo said the Cubans in Miami, so I'm assuming at least a little similar to the ones in Cuba, they're very literal. So a guy in a woman's dress is like, sick, I get it. Not man, I get it. Great.
Well, so yeah, like culturally, that's the thing about communism as well. Culturally, they're just not fucking fed everything like we are. So like meta or you know, tongue in cheek or subvert, like it's like none of that is
interesting.
You know what I'm saying? People they're basically like, cool. We're eating this week. Our son's going to baseball practice so we can have a future. You know, our daughter's going to medical school so she can have a future.
Yeah.
And we are going to the assembly line to roll cigars.
Wow.
For big, you know, it's like it's like yeah, like that's it. Yeah, and then they come to America. I get it, and then Miami's a very amazingly cultural place. But like when you live in a communist country for 25 years, and then you come here with your family, you're probably set in your ways at that point.
Yeah, right.
But that's the other thing too.
Right, you've already been trained.
Another thing I super noticed about Cuba was everything. Like the beer in Cuba was an unreasonably level of fresh. I don't know how, I don't know why. And it was this Cuban brand that I can't fucking remember the name of that, but it was everywhere. And we just kept drinking it because it was like, I love Mexican lager. Yeah. It's the best. Modelo, fucking, it's funny. In my neighborhood in Bed-Stuy, the bodega, it's 24 hours on the weekends. It's one of those bodegas that's like, we close when people stop buying shit. But they sell $1 Negra Modelos.
What?
And I was like, that's crazy. And I looked at them one day. I'm like, oh, expired in 2022. Fuck it though.
It's always the right price then. I'll still take it.
But like, you know, Pacifico, but like any like, but like it's
shit lager.
Similar, but something. It was like, you ever have beer in Ireland? I think Ireland is the same thing. Like,
well, the column says the taps are all different in different bars. So every city, 98% of the bars they go no, but there's a war between two bars in every city. Okay. They have better Guinness. No, they have better Guinness.
Dude, the best. If you my favorite beer on earth is a Smithwick's in Dublin.
Interesting.
That is my favorite beer on earth.
Smithwick's underrated. Underrated.
Oh
Smithwick's.
hell!
I like it.
Red ale fucks the hardest. Fucks the hardest. But like a Smithwick's from a fucking pub even in Temple Bar, even in like that area, it's my favorite beverage. Damn. My favorite alcoholic beverage. Damn. But it has to be in Ireland. Yeah. And it has to be a Smithwick's, and it has to be from the fucking from the tap.
That was the Ecuadorian, that Pilsner.
I mean, this shit's really
Pilsner there.
What's that?
You see that Pilsner in the Globe Bar?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an Ecuadorian beer.
Yeah, dude.
Called Pilsner, and it's like it's that or Club, and it's like but that's the one. That's
but that's what we were drinking. Whatever we were drinking in Cuba, that shit was. It tasted like wow. This just came out of the fucking. Out of the cold till. Out of the brew hole, whatever beer's like finished in.
That's nice.
That shit was so good. Advice I would have is straight up, like, I think this is advice for every fucking American, because this does piss me off, even with Americans who travel enough. Like, remember that you're in a foreign country.
Just in general.
In general.
Right.
It's not like you're going to get fucking shanked in Cuba. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, because we had a couple, like I said, there was 10 of us. 6 of us have traveled before. 3 of us have traveled as much as I had, and then there were a few of the guys who, like, they're my boys, but who clearly don't travel enough. And it was
what
like,
would they do?
hey man, A, tone it fucking down vocally. Yeah. Tone it fucking down. B, stop fucking flashing the fact that you're an American all over the place. Stop it.
Yeah.
Like, A,
why does that even come up at all?
exactly. Not just for your safety, but you're being a fucking arrogant dickhead right now. Like, just chill the fuck out. Be like, in my opinion, whenever I know you're this guy, and we've only been to 1 or 2 places internationally, but like
What, Australia?
Australia and maybe
Edinburgh?
But I don't think we were at Edinburgh at the same time.
Yes, we were.
I don't think we were. I was 17 and 19. You were not there at the time.
Oh, really? Oh, you're right.
But you travel, like I travel, like I think a lot of people travel, to fucking sort of like disappear into the culture.
To a degree, yeah.
To a degree, yeah. I'm not trying to like become a different person, but I'm like, I'm gonna start
smoking while I crouch and fucking my shirt. But like,
in China?
Yeah.
You're not just hawking loogies indoors.
Yeah, but like to a degree. Let me have the food.
You're not just ripping demon
I'm not
belches.
just shitting in the corner of a mall.
You're not just ripping demon belches in packed subway cars. Did you notice that, dude? You just speak
China.
like, and just, you're like, what the fuck was that?
The worst.
Old,
The worst. These fucking mainlanders.
dude,
The worst.
dude. I mean, so I went to when I
guess it.
when I went over there, I went to Hong Kong first.
Oh, what wrong order?
Yeah,
or maybe it's like, oh, let me get used to a little.
I mean, but yeah, but that was the thing. It was
they
like,
must have warned you at least.
dude, so much so that I was like, should I go to the mainland or should I just stay here?
You know the saying I got from them?
Yeah.
They go, listen, they're trying to be nice. Not every mainlander will shit in a mall, like on the floor in a mall. But if you see shit on the floor of a mall, it was a mainlander.
Dude, I mean,
I've never heard racism like Hong Kong people against mainland
the Cantonese.
Chinese. Yeah.
Cantonese versus
They're
Chinese.
Like,
yeah.
we're better than them. They're all talking Ronnie Chang.
Dude.
They're all like,
I mean, I
a little
fucking,
nicer.
it sucks that Hong Kong's now part of China or like,
Yeah.
but like I loved Hong Kong. But I went Hong Kong for a week.
Yeah.
And had just
a week.
Amazing
What a
time.
blast.
Did a couple shows, but then just was there. And then I went Chengdu, which is you're like, Chengdu, what's that? What small Chinese town is that? You're like, oh yeah, one of their smaller, only
7
11 million
people.
people. Only bigger.
Suzhou.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
And then I went to Hangzhou, which I think is just a suburb basically of Shanghai. Then Shanghai, then Beijing. But every place got more like intensely Chinese. So by the time I was in Beijing, like Beijing to me was like, this is what Americans think of China.
Right.
That's what it felt like. Where it was just like Chengdu is where like all the pandas are.
Okay.
So there's a lot of tourism and a lot of like panda shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shanghai, 28 million people or something, but it still felt very international. Still, it felt more like Hong Kong, but it's
Beijing
3
was
times.
Chinese tourists.
Yeah,
coming
Beijing
to-
felt like, all right, man, this is that. That was where I was like, oh, that's smog. Where you just grab it out of the sky and
They
like,
have an app where they're like, I got to take the bus today. I can't walk to work.
dude, and like it was 2018, so you like everyone's wearing masks, and you're like, no, I get it, and in a couple years, I'm gonna get it
Yeah.
twice actually, turns out, but I'll be fine, vaxxed. But like,
Right. Yeah.
the fucking. That was Beijing, dude. That was just straight up like when I checked into the hotel, it was nighttime, and I get there, and they're just all the employees are just sleeping in cots behind the thing, behind the desk, and I'm like,
What?
I'm like, look, I'm like, there's 3 employees, they're all sleeping, and I'm like, there's not a bell, so I just knocked on the like dunk dunk dunk, and one of them just like begrudgingly got up and was like, and I had a person with me. Like, because I was doing
What
shows.
do you need?
Well, they spoke in Mandarin.
Oh.
That was the thing I did enjoy because I was there with, those guys,
Who?
Muhammad and Andy Curtin. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was with Muhammad, and he was like, he speaks fluent Mandarin, so he was like taking me around.
I know that Muhammad. He drove me around in his moped.
Yeah, that guy was cool as shit.
That guy's rules.
That guy rules.
Egyptian?
Yeah, that guy's
that
awesome.
guy ruled. I
But
forgot
just
about him.
drops just fucking full Mandarin.
Yeah, it's so weird
Yeah.
to see a non-Chinese speaking like that. You're
without a problem. And he was so fucking cool. And but every hotel he negotiated. I loved it. Every hotel they would be like, okay, so it's 115, and what is it? What is their fucking currency again? Not
UN, YUE.
yeah. And he would be like, 85. And they'd be like, no, it's 110. He'd be like, how about 90? And they'd be like, 95. And it would just
Wow.
every time. And I'm like,
And you're like, that was an option?
he's like, dude, everywhere. And I'm like, I didn't have the balls to do it. He's like, seriously, when you go to bars, when you go to restaurants, do it if you feel like it. I'm like, I'm terrified that there's just a fucking sniper following me around the whole time. Because that was the thing when I went to Shanghai, they had to shut the club down that week because President Xi Jinping was in town. So they shut down all performance-based everything and all the gay bars, which don't exist, but they do.
China ruled
China
so
was fucking wild,
hard.
dude. China was wild.
Dude, every time I talk China on this podcast, people are like, oh, you're a communist apologist or whatever. And it's like, do you think we go for the government?
That's also not real communism.
It's not real communism. It's not even communist. It's capitalist.
That's capitalist.
But also, it's like,
government
we're not
oversight.
going to these places. By the way, if you come to America, you're not voting for a war in Afghanistan.
No.
You're just coming to eat some fucking hot dogs.
No. Yeah, dude. It was also like, you go to
China rules.
every Chinese city.
It's so fucking fun.
And
I did so much cocaine in Beijing. I did
did?
so much fucking cocaine in Beijing.
Did you say Tiananmen Square out loud?
I said, "Where's Tiananmen Square?"
I got slapped for saying it, but not like Andy Curtin.
He
Fucking
slapped you.
Slapped me in the chest.
So please don't.
Like we were in a cab, and I was like, "So I can't say Tiananmen." He went, "Bop." He just gave me the
Andy rules.
And when we got
Andy
out,
rules.
we're going to this restaurant. He's like, "Mate," he's all
Mate,
He's
yeah.
like,
I just
"Mate."
hung out with him. in
I
Melbourne.
love that dude. He's like, "Mate," he's like, not around nationals. He's like, "You say it to me, but like, don't even say it to me."
I made a joke that no jokes about the government. I'm like, sure, I don't have any fucking jokes about the Chinese government. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then I was doing jokes about American government at the time, and I go in a riff. I go, my country actually needs a fucking Mao to fucking murder up a bunch of our senators so it affects them right. The whole crowd was like, dude. It was like, it wasn't this like funny or not funny. It was like, what the fuck are you doing, man? It was like you put us all in danger right now,
Dude, my favorite story I heard, you know James Adomian?
Yeah.
James Adomian, if you don't know, brilliant across the board, just a fucking brilliant motherfucker.
Yeah.
He was there a couple years before me, and when they were in Hangzhou,
Really?
they were doing a show at this bar, and the show got shut down like while he was on stage because they didn't have like a performance license or some shit. Like cops came in, officials came in, stopped the show, checked everyone's ID, all identification, interviewed everyone as to what was being talked about on stage, right? So no one could leave this bar.
Wow.
And Adomian, well, I love him, but he's also one of these hardcore, like, just anti-government across the board people with this, mega left wing. I love Adomian, and I think he's got to like. Him and I were living together in New York during Occupy Wall Street, and it was my first time ever being like, "Man, you political as fuck, dude. Like you're like you're like scraping together money to buy a shitload of pizza to bring to a bunch of protesters who could all afford pizza." they're in the financial district.
Exactly.
Let's go get pizza. But anyway, but so the story goes, the officials leave after hours, and James is just incensed by this idea of government. So he like gets back on stage to try and start the show back up, and the whole audience was like,
"It's a
no,
fascist regime.
No,
it's a
we're not.
fascist
We will
regime.
walk the
What
fuck
are you
out of here if
doing?"
you don't get off stage." Yeah.
He goes, "I'll stand up." Like, dude,
Yeah.
you're not in LA during the fucking gay marriage protests. They'll just beat the shit out of you.
Yeah. You will just be disappeared.
I met a guy in Ecuador who was from Hong Kong. He said he was part of the revolution, whatever. He was like 22 years old.
Okay.
And he goes, it was fun. You try to free your government and stuff, free from the government. And he goes, and then I had a gun pointed in my face from a cop who was authorized to use it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
I don't care this much.
Yeah, get the fuck out of there. I mean, that's also like, that's why like, oh, actually, can I have a second? Oh, you going way too long?
No, I'm just looking at the time I
Can I, 4 minutes?
have. This runs out.
All right, can I have a second answer to your where do you want to go?
Yeah.
South America. Just all of it. The whole fucking thing is calling me. I want to go, I would love to, in order, go Colombia, Argentina, then Brazil.
Wait, Colombia?
I would like to go Colombia, Peru, Chile, Argentina, Brazil, and if we can, Venezuela, but I don't think we can. Uruguay. I'd like to see it all, but like, I feel like South America is just like the most overlooked of all the content. Of all
I'll
the.
tell you what, in terms of overlooked, you know how like they have like a number one of that over. You're skipping right past Ecuador and it's
Ecuador. Shit. Yeah, I want to go
the
there.
coolest.
wanna
They
go.
don't have. I don't think they have a tourism department.
Yeah.
So no one know. It's the coolest, and you can go right through it on the way to Peru.
I want to see that, dude. I fucking love.
You should do it. You can learn a nominal amount of Spanish on just Duolingo. Get by like directions, left, right. You know,
I want to
bathroom.
go to. I want to. Colombia for some reason. Just everything about
Colombia
it looks
rules.
amazing.
The chicharrón is the best.
Yeah.
The fucking granadillas. The fruit's the best.
You've done ayahuasca in Peru, right?
In Ecuador.
In Ecuador is where you do it.
Yeah.
Is it
No, you can do it in Peru too. It's all those the idea of those of like, let's say this was South America. These are made up lines, and so you have like an indigenous people that goes this way. Mm-hmm. So just the Andes is like all the same people, but so there's some part of the line is like, well, this stops Peru and starts Ecuador, and but the indigenous people are like, well, we didn't have that line.
Wait, did you? When David was on, did he talk to you about Machu Picchu?
No, we just talked turkey.
Oh,
He went to Machu Picchu.
Yeah,
Well, I gotta
him
have back on.
and I mean, I don't know.
I was so happy because like I'm like show off him on, and I don't know because it's
He's
if I
awesome.
don't hang out with a comic, I don't know how they
Yeah.
actually are. Dude, his episode was fucking great. This one was great.
He parties, bro. But also, him and Bob just hiked Machu
No,
Picchu and
really?
filmed it.
No,
It's gonna come out as like a thing of two like fucking 60-year-old
God, them on
dudes,
do it. Recently?
comedy friends. Yeah, they just did it like this year.
damn.
Yeah, it's. I got to sit in a
Oh.
car with Bob and David and drive from LA to San Diego last year, and just listening to the two of them go at each other. I was like, this is for this 2.5 hour, 3 hour ride, comedy heaven.
It hit me
'Cause
when
you're
I was
like,
talking to him
fuck.
because I've never met him. I've seen him around. Mm-hmm. But it's like you forget, years go by and you just forget. You've grown in stature.
Right.
And it was like, Better Call Saul was great and whatever. But I'm like, oh, dude, Mr. Show was like, it hit me. I'm like, it was just one of those pure things. It's like, you just hit a line that's like rarely hit.
Yeah.
I realized as I was saying, I was like, oh, right. You crushed it.
What's amazing about Mr. Show is I've probably you can watch it on Max right now. I've rewatched it so many times. Every single sketch holds up. Every single sketch holds up, and 30% of them they couldn't do today, which is awesome. True. You know what I mean?
True.
But anyway, yeah. But I would love to go to South America too. South America is like, I really want to.
Talent went to Ecuador.
Sam?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Gave
yeah.
some tips. But the whole place, there's a festival every like county once a year. Every county in the whole fucking
So
South
you'd
America.
recommend Ecuador first?
Among many, that's the one I know. I spent 6 months there during the pandemic. But like,
Oh, that's where you fucking went there. Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know all of them.
I forgot about your fucking.
Yeah. We got 40 seconds left. Let me just one last time plug your fucking show. I put
Oh, yeah.
an insert in there. What is it? It's on FX.
It's called English Teacher. It comes out on FX September 2nd.
It's out now.
Fucking,
It's out now.
Yeah, it's great. Like it's
I'm
capital
so
G.
happy for you, buddy.
Thanks,
A
bud.
mainstream fucking success like that. If you don't know Sean and you want to, and I'll put this in the insert too, so it'll be an hour and 40 minutes ago. But this is not happening. He's on the Mount Rushmore of
That
storytelling
one rules,
comics.
dude. Let's bring it back.
Let's bring it back is right.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you about it. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. And what's it called?
English Teacher
English Teacher.
Yeah.
On FX.
on FX. Hell yeah.
You need some fucking mainstream success.
Let's
overdue.
do it, bud. Thank
All right.
you.
Yeah. All right. Bye, everybody. Well, guys, that's it. That's what we got. That's our episode for today. Sean Patton, thank you very much. Don't forget to look him up on Instagram and tell him you liked him. Give him a follow. Mr. Sean Patton. Is that right? Mr. Sean Patton. Yeah. Check him out on the road and check out his new show, English Teacher on FX. Dude, a legit sitcom. You should have seen how happy the comedy community was when Sean Patton, when the word got out that he booked a pilot and that it went to air. It's like, there's something that happens when like some of us like get bypassed and we all see this kind of unfair. It nags at us. It nags at all of us. Like, hey, things are going well, but fucking the talented guy's kind of left behind. He's doing fine, but not like he should. He should be a household name. He should be a millionaire. But now he's got this sitcom, just as sitcoms are starting to get hot. It's got to be good for him. I hope he's going to be able to do these theaters soon because he's so fucking funny. So check him out. The Jew vinyl has been printed. It's being shipped to Phoenix to ship out. Those will all go. All the signed ones are gone. The other ones, you can get everything at reshaffir.com. Grinders, T-shirts, old yarmulkes from the Jew special. What else? I think that's it. There's got to be something else. The rest of the Shroomfest shirts if you celebrate Shroomfest this year. And hit subscribe. I'm also getting those people that I wanted to help me make those clips, fans who watch some of my podcast episodes, for a little extra scratch. Not much, a little. If you sent me a message before, I might have lost it. I need like 5 of you. So just all you got to do is just watch podcasts that I'm on, not this one, other ones, and then I'll hook you up with my one of my reps, and then they'll like assign you an old one, like an old Kill Tony or an old Theo or an old Rogan or whatever. So watch something new and something old, and then like just say just say the parts that I shine. Could be fun. Those 3 of you are already fucking dealt with. And sign up for the Patreon. Patreon.com/You Be Trippin. 3 times a month, extra episodes. The last one was all about trains and train travel. And then I read your postcards from around the globe. As you're on vacation, something cool I like to do is you take a fucking trip, get me a postcard out there. Tell me kind of what you did. My advice is write the letter. No, put the stamp on first, then write the letter because you're going to run out of space. You're going to be covered up. And I read those on the Patreon and then look up that country or anything else. It just gets me going. And then I'm filling up my whole Patreon wall with all your postcards. I've got like 10 up there. It's pretty cool. That's all available. And all the old Skeptic tanks are up there with all the travel related ones anyway are up there. Sounds of the Amazon. I recorded the Amazonian jungle for like 2 hours when I was there. Just like listen to it. I don't know. It's fun. Fun stuff. We're having fun. I think that's it. Next week on the podcast, Shane Gillis will be on talking about his time abroad in Spain in a small town outside Madrid or Barcelona. I forget, but that's a good one. I'm unveiling Podcast Studio West next week. A brand new studio West. This is still going to be my main one, and then I'll use the one on the West. But that's it. I guess we got to wrap it up. Is there anything I got to report from the news or anything? Nothing. I got nothing. I got fucking nothing, guys. This is a wrap up with no form. Today's episode was edited by Alan Caffey. It was produced by Your Mom's House Network. They're a lovely network, and if you out there have a successful podcast and are a little bit unclear on the direction you're headed, I'm not joking, and they're not giving me any money to say this, you should call them. Because they're starting a fucking, what's the word? Empire. God damn it, Ari. I mean, at some point, you got to say, I got to stop smoking weed. If you can't remember the word empire, you at some point have to go, something's up here. In flow would have been great, because they're starting an empire. Or this, because they're starting, what is that thing? Whoa, losing fans, tune out. Don't forget to subscribe. Tune out. Empire, what? We're already gone. We're not even listening anymore. And as always, keep reaching out on YouTube especially. We have a You Be Trippin'. You know what, Heather? Let's put up a You Be Trippin' with all the guests and then just say, who else do you want to see? And have people suggest it there. But in the meantime, leave as a comment on the YouTube. I've gotten a lot of guests because of your recommendations. Wonton Don. God, I fucking don't know. Anyway. God damn. I mean, I did. Spliff. It's not even. It's a long-term degenerative effect that's like legitimately problematic. I mean, I could look up. Anyway. So you suggest them. If they're big enough and more interesting enough to me, I'll fucking reach out and try. Who knows? Does anybody know the ball? Whatever. Guys, until next week, let's just sign this out, right? Hit subscribe, get my Jew vinyl. It's half of them already gone. And that's it. I'll see you next week with Shane. But, oh, wait. Adios. Adios, amigos. Oh, I got to say it in the Cuban way. Adios, amigos. It came off drunk. I didn't mean it drunk. I just mean their words. Like, adios, amigos. Adios, amigos. Adios. Adios, muchachos.